Evening, everybody. Welcome to Good Chats. Welcome aboard to Daryl Phillips. Welcome aboard. I've got a photo of your bookshelf here. I'm going to show you later. Welcome aboard to Tammin. Good to see you, mate. How have you been? Let us know what's been going on. Driftos, welcome. Good to see you earlier. Looking forward to catching up on Saturday as well. Pete Donaldson, greetings to you. And greetings to Kingsley Purvis and his their solar panel. Hopefully, his solar panel's going well. Steve Klink, hey mate, welcome aboard. And O'Malley, of course, around the grounds. Thank you for coming on board again. And if you're lurking and wondering just what the hell this is Good Chats. Every Wednesday night at 8:15, we're a group of really cool, like-minded people come together so I can pick their brains about things and they can send me information on things for all of us to have a discuss. It's generally centered around railway history, but we'll talk about other things like YouTube. We'll talk about art sometimes, engineering and other things that I'm interested in and always making YouTube videos about. G'day Kaznik, welcome aboard. I think that's you. I think I got that the link there about the railroad gauges, and we'll talk about that a bit later. Easter, yes, 4 days off in a row. Yay, can't wait. Tell us what your plans are for Easter. My plans for Easter. Good Friday, I'll be cleaning up around the house, doing the summer-winter changeover thing. Saturday morning, bright and early, I'll be up at the Palmer Sculpture Biennial. And then Saturday night, I have one of my daughter's 18th birthday parties, always a momentous occasion. Good to know, Kaznik, thank you. And Sunday, hopefully nothing. And Monday, maybe, depending which day the NRM's open, they've got a book sale on this weekend, so I'm going to go down there and try and pick up a few more books to do the likes of Book of the Week and stuff, because I've literally run out of railway books to talk about. So we need a few more. Easter's a great time, particularly, Sunday, to be on the roads, I think. I think back to some of the videos that I've done, and I've done them on Easter Sunday, and I wouldn't have been able to do them any other day because there just would have been too many people around. So, the places like Tumbleweed on a Sunday. I chose good hats because it's about time for hat season again. And although it's still a little bit warm under these lights as well. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to remove the hat. But if anyone else is wearing a hat at the moment, tell us what kind of hat it is and why you like it. That'll be fun. Or see if you can send us an example as well. On this episode, we're going to talk about that gauge model. There is lots of resources on the internet, including the upcoming book by about the gauge model. There was a book a long time ago called The Mixed Gauge Model, and it's a very interesting thing to try and unpick, particularly as South Australia had a really big gauge model as well. It's probably contributed to its demise. We'll talk a little bit about the projects that I've got coming up. I'll find a random book of the week. And we'll see where we go from there. This could, like all good chats, this could be a long good chat. This could be a short good chat. Who knows? What I'm first going to do is go to play the recent compilation video that I did. I decided that it was time to release a new video, and I was playing around with, funnily enough, the initial effect in the video that the text masking for titles, and then I started bolting on other bits of footage to it, and then I dropped the music in and started to sync all that up, and all of a sudden it became a 4-minute video where it was just really meant to be a bit of a practice thing. It's got the port power hat on. Go the power, calm the power. You packed the caravan. Where you headed to? You got a caravan and a pod camper, do you, O'Malley? You got it all, mate. You're rolling there in the RVs. And Freo versus Crows on Friday. Is that in Adelaide, Kingsley? Let me know. And I'd be interested to see where the likes of the O'Malley clan head out for an Easter break. All right. Okay. And get your footy tips in as well for this weekend. We might start a footy tipping competition, even though I have no idea what was going on in the land of football, but that means I'll probably win. In other news as well, we had Kane on last week, and that worked really well. Listening to the recording back, I think it was okay. It was a bit glitchy and stuff like that, but I am definitely going to. You're in Perth, Kingsley. Okay, cool. I'm definitely going to up the interviewing game, and I've decided that I am going to use StreamYard when I'm bringing guests on board. And I think in streams to come, I might actually flip over to using StreamYard, which is basically a web-based, easy version of what I'm using here, OBS. And for a long time, I've wanted to try and keep it to myself and understand everything about it. But then I've kind of realized that, maybe this tool, StreamYard, makes things so much easier. And so you will see some format updates. And with Pete and I have been working, Driftos that is, been working really hard on lifting the guest game up to the best it can be. It takes a little bit of setup beforehand, and I haven't set it up tonight. But if you guys are familiar with other streamers that use StreamYard, I'd like to. It's finally time to bring that more seamless experience to good chats. So looking forward to working that one out over the next couple of weeks. So what we're going to do now is we're going to transition over to YouTube, and we're just going to play that video for 4.5 minutes. If you've got any questions on it, please feel free to ask, because I'm here to answer them now. And let's press play. Rolling with the homies. We got a drop top Cadillac. We are rolling. Saying before, once the music started playing and I started bolting bits of footage to it, it just kind of grew from there and became this 4-minute. One of my main theories around what I do with my videos, though, is that music and voice are the prime areas of video. That's nice as well, because that in Okay, we'll see how that works. Looks like I've lost the ducking. So yes, that was a fun video, and I was just talking about how audio takes precedence over everything. While my audio wasn't working properly, I've lost the ducking, some ducking filter somewhere along the line. This is why I really just need to change over to StreamYard, which takes care of all that shit for you. So again, thanks for bearing with me through that one. I appreciate it. Now let's have a look at, I've got a link up. Kaznik sent me a Facebook post about the mixed gauges, and the question is, are US railroad gauges, and therefore standard gauge here in Australia as well, based on the distance between the wheels of Roman chariots? So railroad gauges are purported to have this link back to Roman war chariots, which is interesting, right? And so I had a read of that on Facebook. I'm definitely not clicking any of the links on that link. That's on that link that you sent, that's for sure. So I looked it up on Snopes, and I don't know if you guys remember Snopes. But Snopes is a site that is basically like a bit of a fact checker. Is it true or not? And so what I did was go to that website, loaded with ads. And so the fact check on the US, on the railroad gauges being based on Roman chariots, right? And standard gauge, I think, is pretty much the same here in Australia. The eventual standardization of railroad gauge in the US was due far less to a slavish diversion to a gauge inherited from England than to the simple fact that the North won the Civil War. At any rate, we'll talk about the gauge inherited from England, and we go down here to the story, right? The US standard railroad gauge is 4 feet, 8.5 inches. And why was that gauge used? Because that's the way they built them in English, and the US railroads were built by English expatriates. Why did the English build them like that? Because the first rail lines were built by the same people who built the pre-railroad tramways, and that's the gauge they used. So why did these guys use that gauge then? Because the people who built the tramways used the same jigs and tools that they used for building wagons, which used that wheel spacing. Okay, why did the wagons have that particularly odd wheel spacing? Well, if they tried to use any other spacing, the wagon wheels would break on some of the old long-distance roads in England, because that's the spacing of the wheel ruts. So who built those old rutted roads? The first long-distance roads in Europe and England were built by Imperial Rome for their legions. The roads have been used ever since. And the ruts in the roads? Roman war chariots first formed the initial ruts, which everyone else had to match for fear of destroying their wagon wheels. Since the chariots were made for or by Imperial Rome, they were all alike in the matter of wheel spacing. So the United States railroad gauge of 4 feet 8.5 inches derives from the original specification for an Imperial Roman war chariot. So the next time you're handed a specification and wonder what horse's ass came up with it, you may be exactly right, because the Imperial Roman war chariots were made just wide enough to accommodate the back ends of 2 war horses. Thus, we have the answer to the original question. So there you go, and there's an interesting extension to that about the size of solid rocket boosters on the space shuttle and their relationship to railroad sizes. And so we go from horses' asses in the Imperial Rome period to the size of the solid rocket boosters on space shuttles. Is it true or not? What's true is that the standard railroad gauge is similar in width to the wheel spacing of Roman chariots, but that similarity is based much more on coincidence and inherent physical limitations than a direct line of imitation. And I think that's fair enough too, because if you follow the logic of this argument, you kind of discount the fact that broad gauge and narrow gauge and many other gauges of railways have been built as well that don't bear as much relevance to the size of Roman war chariots and the horses that dragged them. So, yeah, what do you think, guys? I don't know. Have you come across that meme before? Let me know. Now, in terms of my upcoming projects too, I have finally got myself a big calendar whiteboard, and I've laid everything out. And we've still, I know I keep talking about these upcoming projects, but the upcoming projects coming up still the Holden siding, the Dry Creek railways. I've got quite a few trips to Port Augusta and Quorn planned for during winter, so I can hopefully capture each of the three main rail journeys, hopefully both from outside of the train and inside of the train, and do something similar to what I did for the South Coast line for the Pitchy Ritchie line. So we're making preparations for that one. The next few weeks are going to be still caught up with the Palmer Sculpture Festival, because I want to do a really, really good work, do a really, really thorough job of getting as many different images as I can of all this amazing artwork up there. And, to put together compilations, that 4.5 minute compilation that came from a couple of trips and obviously hours and hours of footage, and just finding the best bits that worked with the music. And as we've seen on Kane's channel as well, Kane's Trains recently did an interesting video on train whistles and stuff. And it was more interesting than most, I think, because Kane has a huge amount of footage. It's great to see this footage being mined for the really good value parts of it. And you can start to build something else out of all the content that you created earlier, and you might have created it for a different purpose, but if you keep it and you build it up, you can start to repurpose it in all sorts of ways. I think most rail people, or people who are interested in rail, have heard that story about the horse's ass before, and I wasn't sure how true it was, but Snopes is a pretty good fact-checking website. So we're going to move on to book of the week, and I just said earlier too, and welcome to the few other people that have come on board in the last few minutes as well. Don't be shy, pipe up and say g'day in the chat. Welcome aboard. We love to have new people on board. We're in pretty non-threatening group, and all we want to do is share our knowledge of South Australian and Australian history, particularly around railways as well. Oh yeah, that's right. Daryl sent me in that pic. So here we go. Here's another old man stares at computer moment while I figure out how to bring that up. This actually makes me feel a bit better about my bookshelf, where everything just basically doesn't fit, because bookshelves are only so big and you keep buying books. G'day, History Hunter Down Under. Welcome aboard. Does your bookshelf look anything like this, mate? Where are we? There we go. There. Here we go. This is Daryl's bookshelf all the way over there in WA. Please, guys, feel free to. What have I done with the window in that? I've just moved it somewhere. I need to put that back. It's going into the middle. Put that back up there. There we go. And there's obviously the railway part of the bookshelf there, with a fairly extensive collection. Feel free to send me through photos of your bookshelf on Facebook. So you got 3 bookshelves like this. Okay, cool. Um, no, you haven't missed much. You saw the video, and we were talking about the old standard gauge railways being built to the specification of the spacing of wheels of Roman war chariots. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you missed an awful lot. But otherwise, you didn't miss much. Uh, so, but yeah, no, I think that's a thing now. People can send me in the photos of their bookshelf. Maybe we could maybe you could send me in photos of the book that you want to point out, and maybe some of the photos from inside, and maybe we can make that book of the week. Because I have to, I have to go down to the, I have to go down to. Oh yeah, I can see that there. What happened? Delete that. I can see that I have to go down to the National Railway Museum and pick up more books because they've got 50% off a range of books. And who doesn't love a book sale? Okay, all right, that's enough of that. Let's go back to main source. Tell you what, it's a bit of a shit show tonight, but you know, since when has it not been? And it's kind of and playing around with StreamYard over the last week or so is this is kind of definitely pointing me in the direction of StreamYard, because it will it will take all of this complexity where I'm prone to forget to change things over and messing around with volume settings and stuff. It'll take that all out of my hands, and I can just concentrate on the content. Pete, Drift Does, that's the reason why I guess I'm doing my YouTube project for the people who ask what is a book, and would prefer to watch a YouTube video about it. And so that's what the project's all about, is to study these books, go out and explore the lines based on studying these books, and bring all that information into a remediated format on YouTube. Speaking about remediated formats, here's a format that goes way back for Book of the Week. I don't know. Does anyone remember these things? The Battle Picture Library. I've got heaps of them, by the way, too. Commando series, the war stories in pictures. Who remembers these periodical, basically World War II based cartoon stories? I always really liked the art, and I always really liked the art in particular too, because it was, it was about warplanes and cool stuff like that. The cover's falling off this one. And then just, to really date the book as well, you'd have some really cheap ads on the back of them as well. When you used to order all of your stuff from catalogs, because the internet didn't exist at this point in time. Let me see if I can find a date on one of these. They were 25 cents when they were sold. There's no dates here. Oh, there's no dates in the back of that either. No, there's no dates. Let's have a look. Let's see if the Commando ones have dates. No, they didn't. Oh, here we go. Printed and published in Great Britain in 1984, which would make me 10 years old at that point in time. And obviously these things are bloody awesome when you're 10 years old. They were worth 25 cents at the time, and I bought an absolute ton of them. And I'm hoping that one day they might be worth like 50 cents each or something. They would have doubled in value because they'll be collector's items. I have got so many more on my bookshelf there because I just used to collect these like crazy as a kid. And there's also space ones as well. There's the Star, it's not Star Trek, it's Star something or other. Yeah, that's it. Star Blazer, 12p for that one. I don't know what I would have paid for it in the book exchange where I found it. And what's even better, these were created in 1980. So we're talking nearly a 45-year-old cartoon magazine here. And it's holding up pretty well, given it's 45 years old. Just that's really strange to think that some of the stuff that we bought as kids is now like nearly 50 years old. But I suppose that's a bit like us, really. And yeah, these were also a really cool diversion from the days when there was no mobile phones and shit. So you just had to deal with these and colouring in books and stuff like that. That's right, Tammin. Drifters Pete is in the house. So, guys, I've been going for half an hour now, which is not bad because I came in hot on this, and I didn't really have much because I haven't been going out and doing much else other than the Palmer Sculpture Festival, and I didn't really want to bore you with another Palmer Sculpture Festival book or another story about the Palmer Sculpture Festival. It is kind of central to what I do in April, but I have a plan. I have a plan now, and I have a whiteboard. And I'm able to see now a little bit better about what's going to happen over the next few months. I did reach out to the Sleeps Hill wine storage tunnel people to see if I could get access in there to do filming for a Sleeps Hill video, but they declined. I guess that's fair enough. I'm not Channel 9 really, and they don't want to be overrun with every other YouTuber following in my footsteps. I'll still make a video, but I just won't be able to get access to the tunnels that are now privately owned. And that's their prerogative to say so. So, it is what it is. Now, let's go back to here. Yeah, it is, but I'm glad I asked. You've got to ask the question. And I'm not Fringe Festival, so they're not gonna open for the likes of me. But there are still some tunnel entrances which are accessible, and I'll be able to, I guess, use animations or recreations, or not the real tunnel or something. I'll still tell the story. I'll just do it without access to those particular parts of the tunnels, which is absolutely fair enough on their part, to be honest. And they were very polite about declining the request as well. So no worries there at all. So it is time now to call it for the night. I've run through my short list of content tonight. Hopefully I can come up with something else out of the trip to Palmer. We're very close to Apamara, so I might go do drone flight. And yeah, that's right, JK. At least I asked, and it's really important to keep doing that as well. Sometimes the best things come only after you've been rejected a whole bunch of times, and it's no problem to me. It's just one more to add to the list. Go back and check out my short, if you like, about Rathjen's Gap, which was not far from the Palmer Sculpture Festival. And incidentally, Rathjen's Gap was one of the routes that was surveyed for, I think, both the main South Line and also the Adelaide to Morgan railway line. And if you've been there, you can see why it's such a natural feature and a gap to get out and head east out of the Adelaide foothills, or the foothills around that area. So check out that short if you want to see it there. And as I said, we'll be around Apamara as well when we're up at Palmer, so we might have some time to go check out what remains around there. But that will probably be a short as well, rather than a long form video. My next long form video, I think, will likely be the Dry Creek explosives tramways, and then Pitchy Ritchie later in the year. But it's all planned, and you just sometimes never know what bubbles up. The video that I produced yesterday just kind of bubbled up out of nowhere, and I decided that it was time for that thing to happen. So I want to thank everybody for coming on board The old mine. Oh, yeah. I just saw that comment as well near Palmer, and I drive past it every time. Mine Road, right? And I'm like, one day I'm going to go down that road and find the mine. So thank you for reminding me, O'Malley. Might actually be spending a bit of time up there this Saturday, quite a few hours actually. So we might go and check that out as well. So thanks for reminding me of that one. Okay, so thanks for coming on board, O'Malley. Thanks for coming on board, JK. Have a rewatch if you want to hear us go through the gauge. Why is the standard gauge the same as Roman war chariots? Or find the link on that one. Tammin, thanks heaps for coming on board, man. We've got to catch up soon. Daryl Phillips, thank you. And yes, railway stations always had awesome bookstores because that's kind of all you had to do when you're on a train was read a book. Couldn't get your laptop or phone out, eh? Drift Oz, thanks for coming on board. Thanks for always helping out as well. Thanks for giving me the tips there on the down low on the Facebook Messenger. But I do reckon I'm going to have to go with StreamYard and just eliminate all of this technical stuff altogether. History Hunter, glad you could come on board again, mate. Always love your work as well. I go back to it from time to time to have a look at what's happening. Plain Train Guy, thanks for your compliments on the recent video and really appreciate you having you on board as well. Kingsley Purvis in Perth, thank you for coming on board. We're going interstate now. This is really good. Daryl, thank you for continuing to send through those images. Just send them through as attachments, mate, and it's a lot easier for me to work with them in that respect. Likewise, Kaznik, thank you for sending through that as well. So, and likewise, everybody, if you come across a little nugget of something that you might like to discuss or you might like me to have a look at and maybe do a little bit more research around, because I'm generally pretty good at this stuff because I do it obviously as a passion, but I also do it as a job. So yeah, when it comes to Google, I have pretty good skills. Steve Klink, thank you for coming on board again, mate. Hope you've enjoyed it. Pete Donaldson's been quiet tonight, but I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Thank you. And that's just about everybody. Oh, going out to all the lurkers as well. Everybody who's just hung around, they haven't chipped in or anything, please feel free to chip in anytime. I want this stream needs to be reflective of the people that are watching it, not so much reflective of what I do, although that is kind of the kernel and the basis of it. But what really the basis of what streams are supposed to be to me is about reflecting what's happening out there with y'all. So Sammy stuff, pipe up, say good day, even if it's just to say hello. And we would really love to have you on board. I will be mining my own business from here until 8:15 p.m. next Wednesday. So I really want to thank you all again for coming on board, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.